I can stay awake just to hear you breathing. That is my joint.
That's your joint?
Oh my God. I love that song.
Hi, welcome to the guest list with Patrick Hicks. Today I am joined by Chicago urban historian Dilla. And Dilla, we are going to be making a playlist of your life today. You ready?
Oh man, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate it. Huge fan of your work, brother.
Oh, same. You're one of the first people I started following on TikTok, so.
Yeah, right on.
Do great stuff.
I learned a ton of stuff from you, man. A ton.
So, you're from Chicago, obviously. Born and raised?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is a song that reminds you of your childhood here in Chicago?
That's tough because it's not necessarily a Chicago song, but
That's fine.
It's a blues song. It's still called the Blues.
Okay.
My dad would play it every morning, man. It goes, people got money, but they still got problems. Go to the psychiatrist and try to solve them. Hey, any way you look at it, it's still called the Blues. Anytime I hear that, I'm in the back of his Chevy Celebrity.
Wow.
On my way to the Taste of Chicago or something like that.
That's so funny. Was your dad big into the blues?
Very, very big into the blues.
Okay.
He was born here in Chicago. He was born actually in Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
And Clark, near the Delta in Mississippi in 1945.
Right.
He moves up here when he's 2. And he is raised in the Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf era in Chicago, right?
Oh, man.
So he's
That's
a big
amazing.
blues guy.
Did he ever play anything? Was he a musician?
He played the piano, which is crazy. He never took a lesson in his life. He said he learned to play by ear.
What is a song from a concert experience that stands out to you?
Twister has a song called "Get It Wet," which is the beat on that thing is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Twister, one of Chicago's.
Chicago's right now he's in Guinness Book of World Records for fastest rapper, right? Fastest rapper,
probably, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
He's insane.
And I was at his concert, and man, my wife's gonna see this. Anyway, I was with a young lady that wasn't my wife. I love you, wife. And I met her. Before I even knew that my wife existed.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like probably my first adult concert, where I bought the tickets and I drove and picked the girl up. And I just remember that moment in the crowd. And
do you remember where it was at?
It was at the Erie Crown Theater.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever met Twista?
Yeah, I met him a few times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. He seems really cool.
Yeah, he is. He's a big gun enthusiast now, which is crazy. He's a certified gun instructor. He helps people get their concealed and carry license now.
What? Oh, that's so weird. I had no idea.
Yep.
Does he give the instructions really fast?
You know what? That's pretty good. That's solid.
Okay, what is a song that is like you associate with a specific activity? So like your workout song, your driving song, something like that. You can be creative with this one.
That I associate with an activity. There are certain songs that like have heavy bass lines, and so when I was in high school, you stole your mom's house speakers out of the house. You had the big tall speakers, right? And we had installed it in the back of my car. Had a '89 Pontiac Grand Am.
Nice.
And and there would be like we'd wait till everybody was like out the building before we start the car, but I got 5 on it.
By
the Loonies. Yeah, that was my pull off from school song, right?
Yeah.
Everybody be bobbing their heads.
Yeah. What about a song that makes you emotional?
My mom's not here with me anymore, so
sorry about that.
Thank you, brother. Boyz II Men's Mama.
Oh, yeah.
That'll get me going good.
Yeah. When did you lose your mom?
2010.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Boyz II Men is amazing.
Very much so.
Yeah. Those records when I was a kid, like there was like every junior high dance I was at, and like everybody in school, no matter who you were, listened to Boyz II Men.
Yeah.
Like I was more into like alternative music, but I was like, all right, End of the Road.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say, who's mad at End of the Road?
Yeah. No, those are all classics. Man.
We belong together. That is the joint right there.
Don't give me copyright stricken.
I only gave it the 4 seconds, so that's why.
Smart. What's a song that you associate with a milestone in your life?
Nipsey Hussle's Dedication.
Okay.
He said, how long should I say dedicated? How long before opportunity meets preparation? And for 20 years, I've been studying Chicago and just like asking myself these Chicago questions. I never walked past a sculpture without like immediately finding out why it's there, who did it. Even though like if I'd be going to visit a friend and, he stays on Paulina or Hermitage or you go up north and somebody stays on Larrabee or something like that. And it's like, I have to know why this thing is called Larrabee, right? It's been like that my whole life. And I had no idea what that would be for other than just my own curiosity. And so that studying of Chicago is the preparation. And then TikTok gave me an opportunity to use that preparation and, dedication, man. It changed my life.
Were you into history in school? Like, was that your favorite subject, or?
I was more into. I liked English in school. I liked social studies in school.
Okay.
The history they taught in school, the Magna Carta. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not
right.
I was always more interested in like local history.
Do you think there's something unique about Chicago that, like, if you were in a different city, would you have been an urban historian of like, LA? Or do you think
I think
being in Chicago made you?
I think LA is so huge. It has a hodgepodge of varying cultures, and so do we. But I feel like there's this underlying thing. You could be, a Polish lady up on Milwaukee Avenue, but there's still a Chicago S to you, right? Like, sure. in your broken English, you're going to say car and not car, right? And so I think we're such a unique space. I don't know if I would have felt that Chicago culture, maybe New York, you know what I mean? Depending on which borough, but I think it was Chicago that really was a thing.
So my wife is born and raised in Chicago, and she's always said like it's like a small town, even though it's, millions of people. Like, that's how it feels. It's like you're always running into people, and there is, like, I'm from California originally, so I'm a transplant. But when I got here, it just felt like the people, there's, like, just more a sense of community, and you're better sports fans than LA. Like, no offense to my people back home, but, like, when I got here and saw, like, Chicago sports fans, I was like, oh, this is a different level.
It's serious.
What is a song, speaking of Chicago, what do you think is the most underrated Chicago song? As a Chicago historian.
Underrated Chicago song. It's a name that comes to me. It's a Chicago song called Walk With Me that talks about the South Side in a gritty kind of street way. He names out the gang names and gang sets. But if you're from the South Side, you understand everything he's saying.
Okay.
So Walk With Me would be one of those songs. I guess it's hard I'm such a big Chicago guy. It's hard for me to feel like any of them are underrated. Also Lupe Fiasco's Go-Go Gadget Flow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm from the best city, right? So Go-Go Gadget Flow from Lupe Fiasco.
That's a great one, yeah. With Walk With Me, did he get in trouble, like, naming names?
No, it actually became, that's the coolest thing about that song. I born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, and for those watching and listening, Chicago was, as much as the news tries to paint us as whatever now, it was a way, way wilder and kind of, I imagine it's like that with LA, right? Like, just the streets were a lot more dangerous than they are at right now. But when that song came out, you could be at a party that you shouldn't be at.
Yeah.
And the varying factions would be waiting to hear their shot out.
Yeah.
Right? And then that moment allowed these two supposedly opposition people to have a thing that they liked and agreed to.
Yeah.
And so you could be anywhere and you'd hear that song, and it actually made him like a folk hero.
Really? Okay, that's awesome.
And it allowed for us to party in peace.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I mean, the power of music.
D.A. Smart is his name.
Were you ever like in gangs or like?
I tried, okay. I was the worst gangbanger on earth. It was one. My dad was a cop, okay. And then 93, 94, he had a really bad stroke, and he was in the rehab for like 7-8 months, and so my brothers and I lost like that watching eye, and my mother, being the good wife, is down at the hospital every single day. So now we're like latchkey kids.
Yeah.
And my brother from my dad's previous marriage moved in with us when he was 16, 17. He was from Mississippi. And so the guys in my neighborhood were harassing him. And one of them came to me when I was like 12 or 13 and said, hey, if you join, then we can't mess with any of your siblings no more because you're in. And so my 12, 13-year-old brain thought that, so this is the way to protect my older brother from the bulls. I mean, like, he'd have to haul ass from that bus stop to the house every day after school. And so, like an idiot, I did that. And then one time, which it's hilarious that I'm laughing at it now, but we're all out there and we get shot at. And so in the streets, what do? You get retaliation. So we all go jump in the car. And I remember like it was yesterday. They had saw somebody and I stopped them. I said, hey, that doesn't look like the guy that was shooting at us.
Yeah.
And so why are we going to just go randomly shoot at somebody because he lives in this particular neighborhood? Yeah. Like, I'm all for somebody do something, you do it back. Well, at least I was at that age. But I'm like, but, that ain't the guy. Don't do it. And apparently that ain't how gangbanging works.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's
they didn't
not
like the voice of reason.
Yeah, he's like, that was it. That was the end of my tenure. Kind of like,
you got kicked out of the gang for that?
Yeah, for sure. Really, for sure. And not kind of like no kind of formal thing. It's just like they avoided one of us. Yeah. And and at first it was like, well, dang, that's messed up because a lot of those guys were people I played Little League with. That's how it happens, right? That's what you end up with. But it ended up being like the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah,
because it allowed me to have a normal teenage childhood without jail and bullets and shit.
What's a song with some of your favorite lyrics? Are you a lyrics guy over a beat?
So my favorite human, damn near, besides my wife, is Jay-Z probably. Right?
I love Jay-Z.
I love Encore. I love PSA.
Yeah. Black Album guy. Oh, sick.
That was Black Album cover right there.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
December 4th was the last song I ever played my mom.
That one gets me a little
emotional. Right.
That one's pretty beautiful.
December 4th was the last song I ever played my mom. So
that's so funny you bring this up because I actually have been thinking about that album a lot because the last song, my first song.
Yeah.
Where he has the Biggie quote where he's like, you got to treat everything like it's your first project. Yep. Like, that's how I'm kind of approaching this show. I'm like, you know what? I built this TikTok following, do music stories. I'm kind of pivoting off of that, trying to do something new. I'm like, I'm gonna treat it like it's my first project. Yeah. You got some interesting tattoos. I saw Homer Simpson on that side.
Yeah, so my dad, Homer was my dad being the cop was probably the most hilarious thing on earth. And my mom would always say, who in the hell would trust you with a gun? And so, he ate donuts and all that. So my brothers and I called him Homer.
Oh, that's
and so that's the CPD patch on his shirt, and that's in honor of my dad, right? And it has his name here. And then my mom was a nurse at the University of Chicago.
Yeah. Oh,
and she was like Marge, like, don't do that, so that's
it's
her.
Pac.
That's Tupac. Oh, yeah. I have that because the photographer that took this very famous picture is from Chicago.
Of course, everything dope about America
comes from Chicago. Nipsey Hussle and I share the same birthday, and he had TMC, the Marathon Continues. Yeah. My company is CMT, Chicago Mahogany Tours.
Yeah. Okay.
That's Dr. King.
Yeah, of course.
What else we got? We got it's the first time Kobe and Jordan faced each other.
Oh, I remember that game. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And then we got Angela Davis back there and Ida B. Wells.
Okay, so what Jay-Z song are you picking? I pick one.
Probably December 4th.
December 4th, yeah. That's such a great one. He's just so clever. Like, his mind is just so good. Like, I love the line in that song that, like, my parents made love under the sycamore tree. Made me a sicker MC. Yeah. What's a song that you think people would be surprised to find out that you like?
I love Journey. Don't Stop Believing.
All right, that's a big surprise.
Yeah,
okay.
I love that song.
All right, where did that love come from? Was it karaoke or?
No, just well, they played a lot at White Sox games. They historically always played them. And then my sister, born in the very late '60s, so she's a teenager in the '80s, turning in, and so all that '80s stuff. And and that, and then what's the I can stay awake just to hear you breathing. That is my joint.
That's your joint?
Oh my God. I love that song.
That I Don't Want to Miss a Thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. I could damn near tear up. That song is so beautiful, man. That's exactly how I feel about my wife, so.
Don't want to miss a thing?
I don't want to miss a thing.
Oh, that's beautiful. How'd you and your wife meet?
I stole her a little bit. We're being honest. I was a fifth-year senior in college. She was a freshman. Mm-hmm. I was graduating as her second semester or whatever. But I'm an Omega. I'm a Q Dog, and we're popular frat down there, and so everybody knew me, and so we were cool. It was like 7 of us that had a car, right? Yeah. So I was one of the dudes that had a car. So the whole campus, if they ever need to ride to Walmart, you just ask somebody, that kind of thing. So I got acquainted that way. I graduate. Time goes on. I see her on Facebook, and she posts a picture. I'm like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. And so I sent her a message like, "Hey, you look amazing." She's like, "Thank you." We started talking, but then she was in a relationship, and so I tried to mind my business, but then I started being a jerk. Found out where she works. I'd send lunches or edible arrangements or flowers.
Oh, wow.
Her birthday, I left a card with a gift card in there for gas because she used to have to drive so far for work. I have a bonus son that I absolutely adore, but then for his birthday, she's a scientist, my wife. She taught chemistry and biology and all that stuff. Wow. So I bought all the books about Black scientists that are children books.
Oh, yeah.
And that was my gift to her son for his birthday. And then one day I just wrote her this letter like, I ain't trying to get in the business. You're getting your business, but I don't think you belong to him. I think you're just there.
Okay.
And if you think that y'all are supposed to be together in this life and next, I will leave you alone. But if you don't feel like that, then I feel like that. Yeah. And man, it was almost like the Notebook or some shit. It was my birthday, and she's like, "I'm gonna go out with you." And then he's calling, he's blowing her up.
Oh my
God. She didn't answer. She was like, "You know what? We're gonna do this."
Oh my gosh,
dude!
Did you ever talk to that guy?
Yeah, we're pretty cool now.
You still talk to him?
Yeah, we're pretty. Everybody's pretty decent about it. It's like, what could he say? It wasn't like
if I had to be together. He was
right. Sometimes a dude is like shooting shots at your girl just because he wants one thing, right? You know what I mean? Like, he didn't want to be with her forever. You know what I mean? Like, you get in a relationship and now you're like stuck in a relationship sometime. And so, when I finally had to talk to him, I was like, man, me doing this is going to allow you the opportunity to find your soulmate, because this ain't your soulmate. You know what I mean?
That's a good one.
Did he? No, he's still a player. He's a player now. But we made that decision. We were going to beat it with each other in September, and we went to City Hall in December.
Oh, wow. That year. You got married? So how long has it been?
10 years.
Nice. Congrats, man. What is a song that somebody introduced you to that you love?
Ooh. My daughter introduced me to G Herbo. I'm trying to pick a song.
This is a Chicago guy.
Yeah. My daughter introduced me to G Herbo. I like some of his stuff.
Yeah.
My wife introduces me to Doji.
Oh yeah.
I like that stuff.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. So between those two, it's hard to pick a song, but those two artists are now strongly in my playlist from being in the car with my daughter or my wife.
Yeah. Have you tried to introduce your kids to music? Was that like a thing where you're like,
so my 12-year-old swears to God she's a 90s baby. Like you know, she'll give you Dear Mama word for word now. She'll I had to stop her because that Me Against the World Tupac album. You know, they say pistols and poetry. Like she'll do that one. And I'm like, hey,
it's a little advanced for 12.
Yeah, right. You can't say that. So my 12-year-old loves my music. She's into the 90s stuff. She you know, I had to ask her who broke her heart because she was in there playing "You Got It Bad" by Usher. I was like, you wasn't even a twinkle in my eye when that song came out. Now look at you, right?
I mean, that stuff is timeless.
Yeah, that song is very much timeless.
I very much remember being like 11 or 12, like listening to these heartbreak songs without knowing anything. I was just like, I get it. I see where you're coming from.
You know, when we were 11 and 12, though, that was like, that's all of our parents' music really was. A lot of either rock or love songs. Yeah. There wasn't in between.
All right, what about the flip side? What's a song that you've maybe like put on a mixtape, a playlist, introduced somebody else to that you love?
What's a song that I have introduced? So my wife absolutely loves Picture Me Rolling by Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
I introduced her to that. And then I've also introduced my little brother to Big Crit.
Okay.
And he's heavy into it now. Yeah. So between those two.
Were you a big like making mix CDs for people
kind
of guy?
Oh my goodness, tons of them. Yeah. You know, I was one fortunate, and not from a monetary standpoint, but from just my dad instilled an amazing work ethic with me. Like I don't stop, and so I do work 2-3 jobs in the summers in between college, and so you know I was the only dude in the dorm with the CD burner. You know what I mean? So I made everybody CDs.
Yeah. You're charging for them?
Yeah, for sure. Like $2 or something. Like that.
But still. All right. Last question: what is the most recent song that you've fallen in love with? Could be recent to you. Could be a new release.
What is the most recent song that I have fallen in love with? I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's a SZA song that my wife plays nonstop.
Is it Kill Bill? Is she trying to tell you
something? Yeah, she likes that one too, though. But I've grown to love SZA a lot.
Yeah, SZA's amazing.
My kids are also, you know, very much introducing me into music. I wish I could give you a name right now, but it's off of SZA's first album.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You like that one, Control?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Hey, before we go, I just, you know, are your parents musicians? Where is your love of? I mean, you have an immense love for music. It's palpable, right? People can kind of understand. And the beautiful thing about you is that, you know, you'll probably name off gospel songs from the 50s, rock songs, blues songs, opera, you know what I mean? I just learned about a lady named Florence Price, who's a first black woman to have her songs performed by the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. And listening to that, like, turned me on to classical. And so, you know, I was at the Chicago Sinfonietta about 3 times this year, just listening to the various music. I'm wondering where that come from for you.
So weirdly, sort of from my parents, but not in the sense that they ever like played any music. My parents were very like not really into music. Like we did not have records in the house or a record player. They would listen to like the radio in the car, but that was about it. But I kind of early on was into music, and so my dad would start bringing me biographies from the library. Like as soon as I was old enough to read, he would like bring music biographies because he was like, you like music? I don't know, here's an artist. But he didn't know anything. So he would not discriminate about what he would bring home. So I was like, here's B.B. King's autobiography, and here's one about U2, and here's one about, you know, just like every artist that they had on the shelf. So I would just like absorb it all and read it all. So yeah, I almost think maybe I became so obsessed because they didn't expose me to anything. So I felt like I was learning. maybe something I thought that other people knew. Like maybe I felt like I was at a disadvantage. Like everybody else's parents seemed to like play them, like Motown in the house or whatever. And I was like, no, I wasn't exposed to this. So I now have to learn everything about this. So that's, I think, where it comes from. But
right on. My dad was a big music guy. He played a lot of music. He was very social. Basement parties. You ain't lived until you seen a bunch of drunk cops singing "Hold Me Closer, Tiny Dancer."
That's
funny. It's hilarious. And then because Chicago can be a very segregated place, but because he's a cop, right? They're all blue, you know, and so some Irish dude to yell out, enough of that soul, play some rock, and stuff like that. And so you get a varying mix of music. Yeah. Sitting on the stairs, looking down there.
I read on your Wikipedia page that your dad refused to drive on expressways because they were like tools of segregation.
Just particularly 290. Sometimes you ain't got no choice, but you're going to O'Hare and all that kind of stuff, right? But
he made a point to be like,
for sure. My grandpa bought property on Congress Parkway in North Lawndale, and then maybe 7 years, which was a very hard thing to do in the early 1950s, and then maybe 7 years later, eminent domain comes through. Yeah. And urban renewal, what they would do is they would pick the most dilapidated property on the block, and they would say that's the value of the block. And so whether your house was worth, $30,000, but they're saying everything is over here worth $10,000. So with eminent domain, even if you take them to court and they buy you out 2 times the value, well, you're still $10,000 undervalued. And he was like 7 or 8 years into, they used to do 25-year notes. He was 7 or 8 years into a 25-year note, and when they bulldozed their house to build the expressway, he was upside down. Yeah. So he still had to pay that mortgage on the expressway. Yeah. And so nobody in my dad's side, like they didn't like 290 was the monster. And so we go to the Chicago Stadium, bro. I live on 81st Street near Ashland. We had to take Ashland all the way to Madison and then go all the way over, right? But that became my world, man. Sitting in that back seat, there's no other way to see Chicago, Yeah. If you got to go even to Wrigley every now and again, just tell yourself, hey, I'm gonna take service streets the whole time, and you'll be amazed at the things you see in this city. Yeah. And he like your dad was big on bringing books home, and so if sometimes I'd be interested in something that I saw, and I keep it to myself because I know he's gonna come home with 2 more books. If I say any damn thing.
Yeah. Well, that's the best way to make a historian, maybe.
Yeah, right on.
Bring home books. Man, I really appreciate you sitting down to do this. What do you have going on to promote right now?
I have my YouTube show, You Don't Know Shy.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, thank you. It's been 2 months since we dropped the last episode, but we're working. I've recorded with Benny the Bull. We did, so that episode's going to be great. We did Tony Baker, who's a hilarious comedian. He's probably the guy that created the animal voiceover genre.
Really?
Yeah. When cats fight, they call it skibbity paps. That's him. He invented that.
Oh, okay.
So we did Ben the Bull, Tony Baker. We did Spice Adams.
Nice.
We did Father Michael Flager. We did this guy named Ernie Wong who designed Pington Park.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We did him. I think the mayor is going to bully me and make me do an episode with him.
I saw the Lori Lightfoot one. So doing all the Chicago politicians.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and we're getting ready to do Sexy Alexi Janulius, the state's Secretary of the State.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
We call him Sexy Alexi. You never seen that picture?
No.
You probably wouldn't, right? Because, you're heteronormal, as they say. But so he was at the Pride Parade maybe 3 years ago, and it rained. He had on his white T-shirt, and he's this like workout, fanatic, and he's Greek, and he has hair of a Greek god that just cascades over his face, and then it started raining, and so now he's out there in a wet T-shirt with his muscles rippling all through, but he kept marching in the parade, and so
all right.
Now he's Sexy Alexi.
My wife is Greek, so she will definitely know who this guy is, and. But weirdly enough, Benny the Bull is my wife's like hall pass. Like
right on.
She's like, I'm weirdly attracted to Benny the Bull. She's like, not whoever's in the soup, like literally the bull. So
You know what? You'll never know because you can't say anything. So
that's how Chicago my wife is. She's like, I will only.
Oh, you're gonna love. She's gonna absolutely love the Danger Boy episode. We had a great time.
I can't wait. All right, man. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Great seeing you again.
You too, my brother.
Yeah. You've heard the stories. Now hear the songs. Go to wherever you listen to music: Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and you can listen to today's guest's personalized playlist if you search for The Guest List with Patrick Hicks.